love and joy our Advent gifts appear. Spirit embodied in our midst appearing. Oh, come be born our faith. Oh, come be born our peace. Oh, come be born our love and joy. All of us as one. Welcome to Unity of Mesa. My name is Stephen Chavez. I am your board member of the day. I have some small things that we have to talk about before we get started. Please be sure to silence your cell phones, everybody. And we are a mask optional community. So before you give your Christmas hug, Christmas greeting, be sure to ask those around you. And welcome.
Steven says, can I sing a song? And I said, will it be like Halloween song? It's like, pretty much. Thank you so much, Steven. Well, welcome. Merry Christmas. Special greetings to those who are joining us online this holy, happy day. My name is Reverend Mindy Tucker. I'm one of the co-ministers here. Reverend Nickie Golden is giving the message. On piano, for the last time this year, and maybe next year too, is Jenn Crandall. This is Jenn's last Sunday with us, and I'm so grateful for our partnership and the way that you have served our community. Really, really lovely. We just might as well give us a hug and blessing right now. Jenn, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate, we behold the Christ you are. Let's say that together. Jenn,
we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ you are.
Tremendous gift to our community, and we're very grateful, and we honor your LDS tradition and that they have scheduled her service for right when we have our service. I still want to talk to that bishop. I'm going to be a big girl about it. So we have, for the first time, Nicole Jensen with us on vocals, and you'll be happy about that. Let's just take a moment to connect to our Christ light, to our Christ being in prayer, knowing that we are in the right place at the right time right now. We are here in community, in Unity of Mesa's spiritual community, where we are invited to enlighten, empower, and energize our soul. To be open to discovery, to be open to learning, and especially to be open to the wonder of this now moment. For our open hearts and curious minds, we say thank you, God, and amen.
Beautiful.
Yes.
We have just a couple of announcements for you. One is that Nancy Spence is going to do a class beginning on January, can you imagine? January 2023, beginning on the 7th. So we wanted you to put that on your calendars now.
Infinite Possibilities is the name of her class. Nancy is an amazing and gifted teacher, and we're partnering with, Nancy, help me. We're partnering with
New Frontiers.
New Frontiers, thank you so much. New Frontiers, so there will be some Unity people, and there will be some people from the New Frontiers community, and we're having it the first 3 Saturdays in January. And then drumming.
Yes, drumming is on New Year's Day. New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve. It is at 2:00, and you guys came through, and there are enough people for us to do it. So we're very excited. There are some Space is available. You need to sign up if you're going to come. That's very important to the facilitator that you sign up. But if you want to come and drum, sign up and come and have fun. What a great way to get your energy moving and your rhythms going for the new year.
And I think that's it, right?
I think that's it.
All right.
Yay.
Then we're going to stand and we're going to sing.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. We're going to stand and we're going to sing. We're going to stand and we're going to sing. Angels, we have heard on high. My bad. Here we go.
Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains, and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strain. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Shepherds, why this jubilee? Why your joyous strains prolong? Say what may the tidings be which inspires your heavenly song? Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Come to Bethlehem and see him whose birth the angels sing. Come adore on bended knee Christ the Lord, the newborn King. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo.
Thank you so much. Please be seated. I think we're having an affirmation. Oh, it's diversity first. You go away for 4 days. Diversity for January 2023. We take the opportunity at Unity of Mesa to take a look at the holy days and holidays that are coming up in the next month so that we can expand our own understanding of our oneness with God, but also see that the light that shines behind every stained glass window in every temple, every mosque, every holy building is actually the same light. Ending on January 1st is Kwanzaa. It's a African American celebration that is honoring the cultural heritage of the African people. It ends on January 1st. On January 1st is the Orthodox holy day of the Feast of St. Basil. St. Basil was one of the fathers of the Orthodox Church. You know, the Catholic Church was like this, and then it became East and West, and this is the East. Anyway, it's celebrated yet today with lots of amazing food. Gantan Sai is a Shinto holy day. It's January 1st. It's the beginning of the new year. They ring the temple bell. They have special prayers, and they have lots of good food. Tevet is a minor feast day in the Jewish calendar. It's the 10th day of the month of Tevet, and it's the day that they mark as the fall of their country to the Babylonian Empire, and which led to the destruction of the first temple. So day of fasting, no special food. Epiphany is January 6th in the biblical tradition. It's the day when the Magi appeared to the young baby Jesus to offer their gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. It is also in the Hispanic Christian tradition, Dia de los Reyes, which really means, those kings. There you go, the Day of the Kings. Chinese New Year's. There, about 20% of the world's population is Chinese. So Chinese New Year's and the Chinese zodiac actually has a lot of energy and consciousness to it. Starting on January 22nd for 7 days, the Chinese don't work, but they actually have a programmed every day some kind of ritual or tradition, starting with honoring the father and the mother on the first day, and then the last day is all about fireworks. In the United States government puts out a postage stamp. This next year is the year of the rabbit, and if you were born in the year of the rabbit, it is said that your auspicious gifts are prosperity and the capacity to make peace. Are you a rabbit? Yeah, Delaine's a rabbit. Anybody else a rabbit? Okay, if you are, you're just not saying so. Vansant Pachami is a high Hindu holy day. It was a festival that was started in northern India, but it's to honor the goddess Saraswati, who's the goddess of education. So on this holiday, this feast day, most of the schools have some kind of ritual that honor the goddess Saraswati, and parents of children who haven't learned how to speak yet, on this day, they are working the kids' mouths going, say a word, because if you begin to speak, then it means that you will also be as wise as Saraswati is. Historic birthdays in the month of January. Zora Neale Hurston was part of the Harlem Renaissance. She was an incredible writer. She wrote fiction, nonfiction. She wrote stage plays. She really amazing, brilliant mind. She was actually born in 1891, but she lied about her age because by the time she had the capacity to go to school, she was too old. So she said her age is 10 years younger, and once she had that story about herself, she stuck to it. Martin Luther King, we celebrate his birthday on January 15th, and he, the civil rights activist. I don't really know what to tell you about Martin Luther King, except maybe you might not be aware that once he gave his I Have a Dream speech, he had it all written out, and there was this man who was hired to be a bodyguard for him, and the man said, hey, if you're done with that, I'll take it. And so Martin Luther King Jr. turned around and handed him a copy, the only copy of that speech, and he stuck it in a book for about 15 years, and now it's preserved. It's, anyway, it's kind of a neat thing. But Martin Luther King Jr. birthday, January 15th. In the United States, on the 2nd of January, we celebrate Science Fiction Day. I know. On the 11th, it's National Vision Board Day. The 16th is National Religious Freedom Day, which I think is an amazing day to have in any country, but especially ours. And the 24th of January is National Compliment Day. So on the 24th of January, if you happen to think about it, tell somebody, good job, you look nice today. I really appreciate the way you smile. Find something to compliment someone else about. And that wraps it up for Unity of Mesa's Diversity Sunday.
Well, hello, everybody. We're happy to be here. And this is Haven. She's going to lead us in our affirmation this Christmas Day. We could have it up on the screen, please.
The light and love of Christ are reborn in me. Say it with me. The light of love of Christ are reborn in me.
Thank you, Haven. And you get to make the chimes work. Thank you, Haven. We are going to do our children's blessing this morning with a bit of a twist. We'd like to invite you to consider your own inner child. And we want to bless that inner child today. And not only that, we'd invite you to think of anybody that's been on your heart, to also include them in this blessing this Christmas day. So let's start. We're still going to say, children, we love you, we bless you. So let's go ahead. Children, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ you are. Thank you.
Take time this Christmas day to go a little way apart. And with the hands of prayer, prepare the house that is your heart. Brush out the dusty fears, brush out the cobwebs of your care, till in the house that is your heart, it's Christmas everywhere. Light up every window with love and let your light shine through, that they who walk outside may share the blessed light with you. Then will the rooms with joy be bright, with peace the heart be blessed, and Christ himself will enter in to be your Christmas guest.
I don't care if the house is packed or the strings of light are broken. I don't care if the gifts are wrapped or there's nothing here to open. Love is not a toy, and no paper can conceal it. Love is simply joy that I'm home. I don't care if the carpet's stained, we've got food upon the table. I don't care if it's gonna rain, our little room is warm and stable. Love is who we are, and no season can contain it. Love would never fall for that. We sing, ooh, ooh, ooh. Let love lead us. Love is Christmas. Why so scared that you'll mess it up when perfection keeps you haunted? All we need is your best, my love. That's all anyone ever wanted. Love is how we do. Let no judgment overrule it. Love, I look to you and I sing. Ooh, ooh, oh, ooh. Let love lead us. Love is Christmas. Let love lead us. Love is Christmas.
And Jenn Crandall, it's Christmas. It's here, you guys. Are you happy about that? Yes. Merry Christmas to you. Yeah. What a joyful day. And I really appreciate your presence here. I want to tell you a story. I want to begin with a story. It's about a father who had a kindergartner, and it was his first child. And he was so excited that the school Christmas pageant was coming. And many of you have been parents and some of you have not. But there's this really special thing about seeing your child perform in the Christmas pageant. And so he was so excited. But as it came to pass for him that day, his boss told him that he had to be at work and he was going to miss that Christmas pageant. So he was worrying about it. He was ruminating about it. He was trying to figure out, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So he went to the teacher and he said, I can't believe that this is my son's first school Christmas pageant and I have to miss it. And the teacher said, well, there are a few parents that are in the same boat with you. So here's something that you can do. One of the things that you can do is come for the dress rehearsal. And so this man, he talked with his son. The son's name was Nicholas. So he talked with his son, and they made this arrangement that he would be there. So it's the morning of the Christmas pageant dress rehearsal, and he comes into the school cafeteria, because you know these pageants are always in the school cafeteria because they have a stage there. And he comes in and he sets crisscross applesauce on the floor. And he's anticipating. He's really excited to be there. And he sees other parents who've come in and they've sat on the floor. And then the different classes come in, the kindergartners, the first graders, second graders, third graders, fourth graders, fifth graders, sixth graders. Now this is a school pageant, so he's thinking that there's not going to be much about Christmas. It's going to be, in terms of anything about love or anything about joy, but it's going to be more like Santa Claus is coming to town and Frosty the Snowman and the little drummer boy. But the kindergarten class gets up and they all have a sign and they're holding their sign down here. And their song is called Christmas Love. And so the first young child, when the C is saying, holds up a C for Christmas. And then he puts his C down. And the second child, H is for happy, and they go all the way down the line until it comes to the M. And the child holds the letter up and it's upside down. The M is upside down. And the father thinks, oh, I'm so sorry. And he's thinking about how the parent must feel. And so instead of M, it's a W. And then the older kids, you can imagine, begin to sort of tither and laugh at this little kindergartner who clearly doesn't know her letters. And the song goes on, the A and the S, and the L and the O and the V and the E. And as the song ends, what happens is every child holds their letter up. And what does it say when this father read it? It said, Christ was love. Christ was love. Christmas love. Christ was love. What a message. And what a lesson for all of us, that what may appear to be a mistake has a message in it for us. What may feel like a mistake on Christmas Day, how many people have opened the wrong present? How many people have gotten something and then, oh my gosh, you don't like this, I'm so sorry. We all go through that. But when we remember the deeper message. And sometimes we have to seek that appearance. But when we remember the deeper message, we know Christ was love. That gift was perfect somehow, some way. But more than the appearance of the gift, what is really perfect is the thought behind the gift. And sometimes as individuals, we don't believe that we're perfect because we see ourselves in a light that is less than. We see what we think are our flaws. We see what we think are not good enough. So I'm not as good as, I'm not quite the same as. I have to move this because it's distracting me. So thank you for letting me do that. So we see that in ourselves, but we're not looking past the appearance of something to the truth of who we are, which is love, which is the Christ. We celebrate the Christ being born in us each day. We just focus on it at the season of Christmas, but we're always perfect. We're that template of perfection waiting for us to step into it, waiting for us to clarify our consciousness in such a way that we can let it shine forth so that we live. Christ was love. Christ was love. Christ is love. Christ always will be love. Just like we are love, we have been love, and we will always be love. The writer of Colossians says it this way: above all, clothe yourselves in love, which binds everything together in perfect harmony. Clothe yourselves in love. Well, it's not that hard to do because love is our human nature. It's already within us. So we can just put on clothes that reflect that love. We can put on clothes that reflect us, that magnify our personality. I can't wear a lot of things that are out there. I would feel odd in them. I just would feel odd in that. I feel like I was an imposter. But how often do we feel like we are an imposter anyway? Like, how often do we feel like our gifts aren't good enough? That what we have to offer to somebody, if they really knew us, then they would know that we can't do this. And yet here we are, walking through life doing this, whatever your this is. Here you are, whether it's singing or playing the piano brilliantly, whether it's speaking, whether it's simply your beingness. Shine it forth in all ways, allowing yourself to clothe yourself in love. And because we know that we have the Christ born in us each day, we can clothe ourselves in love. We can do it spectacularly. And then when we go through the places in our lives where there's difficulty, when the everyday kind of things, where somebody honks at you and you're like, hey, then you can remember, oh, I'm love. I gave them an opportunity to express their anger, so now they might not have a heart attack. I've given them an opportunity to express in this way. I don't know them, so I don't have to take it on. So when they get home to their family, that expression of anger is already expressed. And so all they have to do is go in and be happy and enjoy their family. We don't know how we touch lives. We don't know how much it means to somebody when we walk into Starbucks and smile at the person who says, how may I help you? We don't know what kind of day they're having, and yet they're showing up. We don't know what kind of day each of us is having and what we might have gone through to get here in this moment, and yet we are showing up. So as we show up clothed in love. And as we live in love, love is in unity is the harmonizer. It brings things together. So when we're feeling that imposter syndrome, when we are feeling like we are not good enough, when we're having those thoughts, we're willing to look beyond those thoughts to who we truly are, which is love, then we can bring forth, we can draw that love out of ourselves, and we can wrap it around us, and that love will simply harmonize those thoughts. The love that you are, as you draw it out of yourself, will simply harmonize those thoughts. I don't want you to miss it. It's already within you. You have everything you need in life to live your fullest and best life. Sometimes in this world, we make thoughts and feelings into categories like negative and positive, but they're not negative and positive. Everything in our life has brought us to this now moment. If we had had different experiences, we'd be in a whole different now moment. So when we are able to say, oh, anger is simply a thought form, it has a different type of sine wave than joy, which is a little bit more like, and anger is a little bit more like, woo, woo, woo. I mean, that's just kind of how it is. So when we can see that difference and go, oh, it's simply an energy, it's simply a vibration, then we can truly clothe that vibration in love. Just think about Beethoven. Ba-ba-ba-bum. Do you think he was happy when that happened? Ba-ba-ba-bum. I mean, I'm thinking, whoa, I wonder what happened. And what a beautiful way to express his feelings, which came forth as creativity that's famous. Everybody knows, ba-ba-ba-bum. And then imagine the beautiful strains of Bach in a prelude that just makes you want to float. That just, oh my goodness. And you just feel this sort of fluid piece of you that's coming forth because the music is radiating and it's bringing that out of you. We entrain to music. We entrain to words. And so when we are clothed in love, people around us become entrained to that same vibration. And when the whoa or the ba-ba-ba-bum comes up, instead of making it wrong, let's clarify it. Wow, there it is. How can I take this and turn this feeling into creative expression in such a way that soon I'm like, la, da 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 da. So it comes forth like that. It takes practice. It takes skill. It takes mindfulness. It takes catching it in the moment and going, oh, I'm being Beethoven. I could be Bach. Let me be Bach in this moment. I can love myself and love my Beethovenness enough to be Bach. And the beauty of this is we are all one. We are all one. So we have those characteristics of Beethoven and Bach within us. We have Beethoven at his ba-ba-ba-bumness, and we have Beethoven in all of the other ways that he shows up. We have that within us because of our oneness, because of that field of connection of our oneness with God. Just as Beethoven was one with God, and just as Bach was one with God, just as we are one with God. So when we look at each other, when we see each other, what a gift to clothe ourselves in love and to celebrate that oneness, to celebrate the joys, to celebrate the differences in our gifts, to be excited that somebody has a gift that we adore, but we don't see ourselves as having. Because if we can see that gift, there's something in us about that gift. There's something already within us. And the question is, are we willing to choose to cultivate that gift or not? Now, Emily Cady, who wrote the textbook, Lessons in Truth of Unity, says we cannot see love nor grasp any comprehension of what love is, except as love is clothed in human form. That's why at the Christmas season and all year round, We talk about being beloved expressions of God, of the divine, beloved expressions of the Christ. We are that. We are that I am that Moses encountered. We are the voice of Noah that said, build the ark. We are that already. It is within us. It's about us bringing it forward, because Christ, metaphysically, is God's idea of its own perfection. God's idea of its own perfection, created in the image and likeness of God. So the very first Christmas story doesn't begin in Luke or in Matthew. The very first Christmas story begins in Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created. That's the beginning. That's the beginning of the Christmas story. In the beginning, God created. And we are that creation. We are it. And we are the expression of that creation in the world. So as Emily Cady says, that we cannot see love or grasp what love is except through our human interactions. This is the value and the importance of interacting in the way that brings love forth, that lets it pour out of us to each other, whether we're in ba-ba-ba-bum or we're in la-la-la-la-la. Wherever we are, allowing it to come through us, allowing ourselves to embrace it, allowing ourselves to be both human and divine, allowing the humanness and the divineness to come together, not only in Christmas time, but every single day of the year. Does it take work? Yes. It takes work. It takes mindfulness. It takes catching ourselves in the moment. And sometimes it takes catching ourselves moments later or days later and going back and saying to the person, hey, I want to share with you that I recognize that I didn't act in a loving manner. And I want to come back and make that right. I want to also share that based on what Emily Cady says and teaches, and based on what the spiritual philosophy of unity is, that love isn't namby-pamby. It's not woo-woo. It's actually that moment of decision to see the Christ in another person. And sometimes that means learning how to say no, no more of this. Or yes, thank you very much. I have some more of that. It takes recognizing that within us are the possibilities and the potentialities of peace, that we hold that key. It's also the possibility and the potentiality of harmony, that we bring the harmony forth, that when somebody honks at us, we don't have to react. When somebody yells at us, we don't have to react, and we don't have to stay there and receive it. We can say, thank you, I'm walking away now. There's love in that. There's love in teaching each other how to treat each other. And that is something that we do beautifully in this spiritual community. It's learning how to say, this is not working. It's learning how to say, I'm open to something new. It's learning how to see the world differently, because that's what we're called to do. And it's learning how to live in our heart space. Because Charles Fillmore teaches that, he's the co-founder of Unity, he teaches that our heart is that visible center of this energy of love. It's the visible center where we send love to each other from. But when I send it out, it's kind of like electricity. Until it becomes an action, you're not going to see it, but you're going to feel it. So let's just all take a moment and tune into your heart space. Feeling your heart space. Just breathe into that for a moment. And think of somebody that you love beyond a shadow of a doubt. And love, first of all, yourself that much. Love yourself that much. And then send it out through your heart as an energy that is moving toward that other person, that is moving forth. And you might see it on waves, you might see it as ribbons of color, but allow your imagination to play with it, to send it out. And see that person receiving it in the way that you would like it to be received. Because it is the heart of Christmas. The true spirit of Christmas lies in our hearts. And so then allow yourself to come back into this moment, knowing that the true spirit of Christmas has been radiating forth from you, emanating from you. And then I want you to turn and look at somebody. And I know we're going to break some social rules because we're going to look at somebody in the eye. Go ahead and do that. Look somebody in the eye. And if you're online, I'm going to look at the camera as best I can see it here. And I'm going to just radiate ribbons of love, because the true spirit of Christmas comes from our heart. And if you're struggling with that, put your hand on your heart. It helps to open up that heart space. And can you feel the energy in this room changing because we've looked at each other in love? We have been the idea of Christ. We have been the idea of love by looking at each other with love, by being willing to break some social rules and to look directly in somebody's eye. And if we have the courage, say, I love you. I love you. And sometimes that takes courage because we're a little bit afraid, oh, somebody's going to have to feel like they say, I love you back, or they're going to, if I don't say it, they're going to worry I don't love them back. I mean, we do all this in our minds, right? We have all these ideas that float around. But let's look beyond those thoughts into that divine thought. That divine idea of love, that frequency of love. Let's take the risk to say to somebody, I love you. And I can say it fully and freely because I know who you are. I know that you are God. You are divine. You are Christ. You are whoever is your highest thought. Know that you can do that. That you can love on that level because that's who you are. Eric Butterworth says, what you think within yourself and what you say to yourself is what determines the life that you experience, the health that you express, the prosperity you demonstrate. And remember, love is prosperity. Prosperity is far more than money. The word means well-being. So we begin with us. What thoughts are we having about ourselves? And are we willing to move beyond those thoughts, to be that Christ that's already within us, to clarify, to expand it, to bring it forth in the world every day, in all kinds of situations? You know, to wave at the person who honked at us, you know, with the full hand. And to truly find a way to mean it. How can I mean that? How can I honestly say to the person who's upset with me, oh, thank you for sharing that with me because I would not have known. And allow space for whatever feelings are coming forth. And to clothe ourselves in love, like the writer of Colossians says, to be the reason for the season, to be the expression. I am a beloved expression of God. Say that with me. I am a beloved expression of God. I am a beloved expression of love. Say that with me. I am a beloved expression of love. I want to tell you another story. Another elementary school story. There was a teacher, and she taught 11 and 12-year-olds. And she had this one particular student in her class. His name was Mike. His parents had died when he was young. And he was living with an aunt who didn't particularly want him there. And you know what it feels like when somebody does not particularly want you to be someplace that you are. We all are like human tuning forks, so we have that sense within us. And Mike knew it. But when he came into school and he came into the classroom with all the other children, he felt a sense of belonging because that teacher had a gift of supporting her students and helping them to feel that sense of belonging. And she knew a little bit about his family background. And so she gave special attention to all the children, not just him, but to all the children. And he felt that sense of belonging. So when we feel like we belong someplace, we want to be with that person. We want to be in that community. And so he began, much to what could have been his aunt's wrath and anger, staying after school. So Mike began to stay after school in spite of what he would receive at home. And he worked with the teacher and he said, "Can I help you clean up?" And so she said yes. They often worked together, not talking to each other, just taking care of cleaning the classroom. It was his act of service. She appreciated it. And there was a bond that began to develop between them based on their time together, that special 10 or 15 minutes after school. And then one day, as it came close to Christmas, Mike shot out of the classroom. She was thinking, wow, I wonder why he left. What happened? Wonder what's going on in his life. And the next day he did the same. And so finally she stopped him at the door and she said, "Hey, Mike, how come you're leaving here so fast?" And he said, "Oh, you can imagine, 11-year-old, I'm making you a Christmas present." And then he really had to get out of there because 11-year-olds sometimes have a hard time with that. And so a couple of days pass and a couple of weeks pass, and he doesn't come back to continue to work. But it's the day of Christmas, Christmas break. They're celebrating, they're having their party, and all the other kids leave to go home for the Christmas break. And Mike walks up to the teacher's desk, and he's got his hands behind him. And he pulls out this box, this beautiful box that he's made. And he hands it to you, and he says, "This is your Christmas present." And she opens the box up, and she looks in, and she's been teaching children for a long time. She says, "Oh, tell me about this. What is it?" Because to her, the box is empty. And he looks in, and he looks at the box. He said, "I filled it with love." And she looks at the box, and she says, "I can see that. I can see the love in that box." He says, "It's for you. My mother always said, love isn't love till you give it away. And I'm giving you love." And then as 11-year-old would, he shot out the door. Love, we cannot see it all the time. We can feel it. We can feel it. And then as we feel it, we can see it in each other's eyes. And hopefully we'll take the time to look at our own thoughts. And when we don't feel they're very Bach-like, and we think they're very Beethoven-like, we can harmonize those thoughts with love. We could actually create a box, a love box, fill it with love, and then when we have those thoughts that we think are not loving thoughts, we drop them into that love box. And what we know is that what we marinate in, what we radiate in, then we take that energy on, we entrain with, is the scientific of it. So we can drop those thoughts in knowing that those thoughts will be harmonized by the love that we are. Or we can simply hold the energy in our hand and harmonize it with love, because as the Christ expressing As the Christ clarifying and expanding, we are harmonizing. And so when we walk through a store, when we drive on the freeway, when we do the everyday things of our lives, we can harmonize our life with that very same love. And it makes a difference. You make a difference. You belong in this spiritual community if your heart is drawn here. You belong here. There is a place here, a place in this community of love that is here for you every day, in every moment, in every way, because Christ was, Christ is, and Christ will be long after all of us are gone. This place, Unity of Mesa, is a place where you belong in the spirit of love, bringing your heart, bringing your presence, bringing your gifts to celebrate life. If you're interested, the affirmation for today is, I am a radiant being of love, for the true spirit of Christmas is reflected in my heart and in my life. If you're interested in this, if you resonate with this, let's say it together. I am a radiant being of love, for the true spirit of Christmas is reflected in my heart and in my life. So Nicole is going to come and she's going to sing us into meditation, and then we're going to spend a few moments in meditation on this beautiful day.
Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel His mighty power and His grace. I can hear the brush of angel wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
In unity, Lord means the I am, which is just another word for the Christ. Surely the presence of God, or whatever name you use for God, is in this place. It has to be, because we are in this place. And everywhere we go, we are the expression of the I am. We are it. And we come here to learn the tools, to be able to share those tools with each other, to express our spiritual gifts, to be Christmas every day, to be the gift of who we truly are, love. Begin with yourself. Love yourself. What is that thing about yourself that you have the most difficulty loving? And love it even more. Wrap your metaphorical arms around that and let it harmonize through the love that's already a part of your divine beingness. And allow yourself to relax and to rest into that love. Allowing yourself to relax and to rest into that knowing that love is so often that thing that we cannot see, And yet we see the result of it as we look in each other's eyes. We see the result of it as we come together, opening our hearts to one another. And we see the results of it as we move through our life, being able to respond to others rather than react, knowing that anything that is looking unlike love simply needs us to open up and clarify ourselves so that we can respond in love. Take these thoughts, these words, into the sacred and holy silence. And then slowly and gently, as we begin to return to this present moment, we know beyond the shadow of a doubt that unto us is born in the city of Mesa the Christ. And it is you, because it is Christmas. Donna's going to bring the lights up. And I'm going to invite you to just place your hand on your heart for a moment. I am radiant love. Say that with me. I am radiant love. And take a breath and say it again. I am radiant love. And one more time. I am radiant love.
We are divinely blessed at Unity of Mesa, and all the gifts that we have, when we give of our gifts from that place of love, all that we have and all that we do prospers. Today, when we open our presents, if we haven't yet, and there's chaos and everything's stressful with our families, let's maybe remember that we can always be that gift of the presence of love that I'm sure we've all felt today. So let's take the gifts of our time, talent, and treasures in our hearts and minds. And remember, actually first, let's go through all the ways we can give. In a little out of order. So you can mail a check. You can give online. There is the Banco mobile app. And now, starting yesterday, yeah, we're going to start passing out the baskets again. Yay! Or you can also text your gift. So now we can do the blessing. Let's take our gifts in our hearts and minds and say the blessing together. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. We thank you, the givers and the gifts.
You're here where you should be. Snow is falling as the carolers sing. It just wasn't the same alone on Christmas Day. Presents what a beautiful sight. Don't mean a thing if you're not holding me tight. You're all that I need underneath the tree tonight. I'm gonna hold you close. Make sure that you know that I was lost before you. Christmas was cold and gray. Another holiday alone to celebrate. But then one day everything changed. You're all I need underneath the tree. You're here where you should be. Snow is falling as the carolers sing. It just wasn't the same alone on Christmas Day. Present, what a beautiful sight. Don't mean a thing if you're not holding me tight. You're all that I need underneath the tree. I found what I was looking for. A love that's meant for me, a heart that's mine completely. Knocked me right off my feet. Now no worries at all, 'cause you are lost and for you. Christmas was cold. All I need underneath the tree. You're here where you should be. Snow is falling as the carolers sing. Just wasn't the same alone on Christmas Day. Present, what a beautiful sight. Don't mean a thing if you're not holding me tight. You're all that I need underneath the tree. And then one day everything changed. You're all I need underneath the tree. Oh, it just wasn't the same alone on Christmas Day. Present, what a beautiful sight. Don't mean a thing if you're not holding me tight. You're all that I need underneath the tree tonight. All of me underneath the tree.
Could I ask the ushers to come forward?
Oh, we affirm your prosperity, for truly the demonstration of prosperity is in the giving. We can think it all we want, but until we give it, we're not affirming it. So I am one with the opulence of God. Would you say that with me, please?
I am one with the opulence of God.
I am now in the flow of infinite abundance.
I am now in the flow of infinite abundance.
And I give thanks for the prosperity that is mine by divine right.
And I give thanks for the prosperity that is mine by divine right.
And so it is. Thank you so much.
We're excited.
We are excited. What are we excited about?
We're excited that there is hospitality. So we're offering you cookies and martinellis and water. We give great thanks for your presence here. Merry Christmas, and we love you.
Yes,
we love you.
We love you. You are our gift. Underneath the tree.
Go for it.
Yeah. You're here. You're here where you should be. Snow is falling as the carolers sing. It just wasn't the same alone on Christmas Day. Presents, what a beautiful sight. Don't mean a thing if you're not holding me tight.